It began like most urban legends do, as a whisper on the internet. Some claimed it was just another online hoax, a harmless chain message that spread through the digital void. But others swore they heard her voice. They swore that Momo was more than pixels on a screen. Elena, a quiet college student studying digital media, was fascinated by strange online phenomena. When she first stumbled upon the Momo Challenge thread on an old message board, she assumed it was satire. Users were trading screenshots of eerie texts, distorted messages written in broken grammar, paired with a grotesque photo, bulging eyes, stretched mouth, and a stare that seemed to follow you through the screen. Curiosity overpowered unease. Elena joined a private group where people shared encounters with Momo. Most were jokes or staged screenshots. But one post caught her attention, a video only 8 seconds long. In it, someone whispered, "Do you want to see me?" followed by a faint sound of breathing. The camera tilted toward a shadow in the corner of a dimly lit room before cutting abruptly. The uploader's account was deleted within hours. That night, Elena couldn't stop thinking about the video. She laughed it off at first, calling it cheap horror marketing. Still, before going to bed, she checked her messages, and there it was, a new contact request. No profile picture, no name, just a single emoji. She hesitated, then accepted. A message appeared instantly. "I saw you watching." Her stomach tightened. She closed the app, turned off her phone, and threw it onto the desk. It was probably someone from the forum messing around. Still, she felt watched. The room seemed smaller, the shadows deeper. She forced herself to sleep. At 3:07 a.m., her phone buzzed. One notification, then another, then 5 more. The vibration rolled across the desk like a heartbeat. Half asleep, Elena grabbed the phone. The messages came from the same number. "Why did you close your eyes?" "I can see you." "Say hello to me." Then came an image, the same wide-eyed face from the forum, now slightly different. The smile was wider, the eyes reflected light like wet glass. But what made her drop the phone wasn't the image itself, it was the reflection in the eyes. She zoomed in. It was her room. Her own desk lamp. Her own silhouette. Elena didn't sleep that night. The more she stared at the reflection inside the photo, the more real it felt, like proof that something was watching through her phone. By morning, she convinced herself it was a coincidence. Maybe someone online found an image of her room. Maybe she'd posted a similar photo once. Logic dulled the fear, until her roommate, Mia, asked a simple question. "Hey, why were you up talking last night?" Elena froze, talking. "Yeah, around 3. I thought you were on a call or something. You said something like, 'I said hello.' Then you laughed." Elena's throat tightened. "I wasn't on the phone." Mia shrugged it off, grabbed her bag, and left for class. But Elena's hands trembled as she picked up her phone. The contact named Emoji had sent another message, time-stamped 3:14 a.m. "You finally spoke back." The next few days blurred together. Elena tried deleting the contact, blocking the number, even uninstalling the app, but every time she turned her phone back on, the contact reappeared. Sometimes there was only silence. Other times, faint audio clips, breathing, static, distorted giggling that rose and fell like someone whispering from a drain pipe. She started covering her phone with a towel at night. She even taped over her webcam. But still, she'd wake up to find the towel moved, the tape peeled off. One evening, while editing a class project, her computer screen flickered. The cursor moved on its own, slow, deliberate, then a message appeared on her document. "You like stories about me, don't you?" Her chest tightened. She slammed the laptop shut, but before she could unplug it, her phone lit up across the desk. Another message. "Look outside." Elena hesitated. Her dorm room window faced the courtyard. She swallowed, pushed the curtain aside, and looked down. At first, she saw nothing, just the dim glow of streetlights and the silhouettes of bicycles, then movement. A figure stood beneath the lamp, motionless, facing up toward her window. It wasn't clear if it was male or female, just tall, thin, with long, black, stringy hair that clung to its neck. Her phone buzzed again. "Smile for me." And in that exact instant, the figure tilted its head. The same grotesque angle as the photo, too far to be human. Elena stumbled backward, heart racing. She tried to scream for Mia, but her voice caught in her throat. When she looked back, the window was empty. Her phone vibrated once more. This time, there was no message, just a video file. Her hands shook as she opened it. The camera panned slowly through her room, ending with her sleeping in bed. She dropped the phone. Her laptop beeped, the screen turned on by itself, and in the reflection, right behind her chair, something moved. Elena didn't remember falling asleep. One moment she was curled up on the floor beside her desk, trembling in the blue glow of her laptop. The next, the sound of tapping pulled her from half dreams. Not from the window, not from the door. From inside the phone. It wasn't a notification ping. It was a soft, rhythmic tap, like someone drumming their nails on glass. Tap, tap, tap. She reached for the phone, terrified yet unable to resist. The screen was black, but the light sensor pulsed faintly, as if something on the other side was moving. Then her reflection blinked. It wasn't her blink. The screen lit up, and the chat opened on its own. "You left the window open." Her eyes darted toward the window, sealed, locked. She double-checked. But the curtain shifted ever so slightly, as if brushed by fingers. She stumbled back, nearly tripping over her chair. "Don't be scared, Elena. I only want to see your face." Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Who are you?" A pause, then 3 dots appeared, typing. "You know my name." The air seemed to thicken, heavy with static. The phone began to vibrate again, faster this time, until the sound became a mechanical growl. The light flickered, casting warped shadows across the walls. And then, the phone camera turned on. The screen showed her own face, trembling, eyes wide. But behind her, in the reflection, stood a figure, long hair, wide, unnatural eyes. A grin that seemed to stretch too far across its face. Elena spun around, but nothing was there. When she turned back to the phone, the image was closer. The figure's head tilted, bird-like, the black hair clinging to its pale skin. She threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall but didn't break, the screen still glowing, the camera still on. "You invited me." The lights went out, total darkness, only the phone's faint blue glow remained, like a dying candle. Then came the breathing, soft, uneven, wet. Not through the speaker, in the room. Elena grabbed a flashlight from her drawer, flicked it on, and aimed it toward the sound. At first, she saw only the far wall, then movement. A pale hand pressed flat against the plaster, fingers too long, joints bending the wrong way. It dragged downward slowly, leaving faint streaks behind. Elena's flashlight flickered. "Stay away from me," she screamed. "Don't hide." Her phone's flashlight turned on by itself, beaming directly at the mirror above her desk. In that reflection, she saw herself, and standing directly behind her reflection's shoulder, a shape. Lank hair, enormous eyes, the mouth curved open, but no sound came. Until the mirror began to fog, letters formed from invisible breath. "Hello?" Her flashlight went out, and in the silence that followed, her phone vibrated one last time. "I'm here now." Elena didn't remember running. She only knew she was outside, barefoot, rain pouring down like the sky itself wanted to drown her screams. The phone was still in her hand. She couldn't let it go. Every few seconds it buzzed, sending jolts up her arm. The screen glowed even through the rain. "Why are you running? You wanted to see me?" Her thumb hovered over the power button, but no matter how long she pressed, the screen stayed on. It was like the phone wanted her to look. She glanced down. A live video feed. But not from her front camera. The image showed her from behind. The same wet street, the same trembling figure. And behind that figure, something crawling. Elena turned, heart hammering in her chest, nothing. Just the empty road, the reflection of streetlights on wet asphalt. "Don't turn away." Her screen flickered again. This time, the figure was closer. She could see the eyes now. Enormous, round, glistening in the dark like to glass marbles. The mouth curled upward, stretching to a shape that looked more like a wound than a smile. Elena dropped the phone and ran, feet slapping through puddles, lungs burning. Behind her, the buzzing turned into a distorted voice. Not from the phone's speaker, from everywhere. "You looked at me, Elena. You watched the screen too long. Now you're part of the picture." She stumbled, crashing into the mud near the edge of the forest. Her phone landed ahead of her, the glow pulsing like a heartbeat. And then the light expanded, as if the beam wasn't coming from the phone but out of it, spreading across the trees, illuminating shapes that didn't belong to this world. Twisted silhouettes with limbs too long, faces too smooth. At the center stood her. Momo? Hair dripping, limbs bending in impossible angles, and those eyes like to wet pearls that never blinked. The light from her forehead pulsed rhythmically, almost hypnotic. Elena couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Momo tilted her head, the grin widening. "You shouldn't have answered," she whispered. "But now, you'll help me find the others." Before Elena could scream, the light engulfed her completely. When the police found her apartment days later, the walls were covered in words, mirror writing, impossible to decipher. Her phone lay on the floor, screen cracked but still glowing. A message blinked on and off. Who'll open the message next? If you've made it this far, you've already looked too long. Maybe the light of your screen feels just a little too bright right now. Maybe there's a reflection forming behind you. Would you dare to check? If you want to hear more about real encounters like this, creatures that move between our world and the dark corners of the web, subscribe. Because next time, it might be your name glowing on the screen.